Hey everyone, welcome back to Life After Neverland. So, I have a treat for you guys, an interview with Cliff Hogg. He was so amazing, such a wonderful person. I think you guys are gonna love this interview. We talked to Cliff about his life before, during, and after his experience on Big Brother. We also have some game talk as well. So hopefully this will be a big treat for you guys during this season when everything seems really predictable. Who do you guys think is going to be in that final three? You guys leave us a comment down below. We asked Cliff the same question. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified whenever we post a new video. We appreciate you so much. Enjoy the video. I will tell you that for me, it's very inspirational to watch you in that house because it would have been really difficult. I think, was it hard to go into the house with so many young people in there who are in their 20s and in their 30s and don't connect with you on that level? And what I mean by that is they just don't have the same life experience. They haven't lived as much of a life as you have. Do you know what I mean? What was that like?
But I knew going in that I probably was going to be that one older person that they have every single year. So I expected it to be all young people and old Boss Hogg. And so, but yeah, as soon as I got in, I started talking to everyone and realized that I had 30 years on a lot of people in that house. It's tough, just little things, you're trying so hard to fit in with everyone else. And suddenly they're talking about music that I'm not necessarily a part of. They're talking about dating and hitting the bars and doing all the things that I did a few years back. It's been a little while, so I really had to focus as much as I could about trying to fit in with them, and I had to really contain myself and try not to be the dad role because that's who I am. I'm a dad. I've been that for a long time, but I didn't think they'd appreciate me being the one in there and taking that role, kind of like Memphis this year. I didn't want to be the Memphis of going to bed early and doing all of that. But I've got to say, I feel like I know I'm not 25, but I kind of feel like I'm 25, and I feel like I'm still kind of a young soul and all of that. And
yes.
So I really tried to treat them. And now it helps that I've got two kids that are the same age as they are. So at least I could go off of some of what they know and what they've tried to teach me and everything else, and try to integrate myself in with them as best I could.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you, I'm 46, and so I feel the same as you. Sometimes I feel like I act and act way younger than my actual age. Yeah. And I just can only imagine going into the house. Like if I was going to go in the house with those same people that you were in the house with, I would wonder how I would connect with them, especially emotionally, intellectually, and the fact that you have a family, you are married, you have all of those different dynamics. And a lot of the things that I've done, Sean and I used to work at Disney in Tokyo, Japan. And so a lot of the things that I did them a little bit later in life. I was a little bit older than some of the people that were on my cast at that time. So I know how hard that can be when you can't connect. Like it's really hard to connect with them. So you kind of feel alone a little bit.
I knew I was in trouble when I started talking about old school TV shows like The Brady Bunch and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And Sis was in there, and she'd never seen either one of them. And I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. This is going to be interesting. Everyone else is talking about today's music and everything, and here's old Cliff. That's just. But there's also a part of me that played that up a little bit. That would intentionally kind of make the dad jokes and talk about, oh, I'm going to make a tweet out there and talk about how little I knew about Twitter and all of that. And so I had fun doing that as well. But at the same time, you have to develop a relationship.
So who do you think you would like to win this season? I know that you're really careful about, you like to leave things open and not, answer those questions. So is that okay? What do you think?
No, absolutely. I've tried this season to try to stay as positive as possible. Yes. I know there's been. And having been in the house, I'm just not going to criticize people too much because I get it. But no, in terms of who I think's going to win, who I'd like to see win, you have to give it to Cody. He's played such a strong game so far. We'll see what happens Saturday with the veto competition, because if there's going to be a downfall to Cody, it probably would be Saturday, I would expect. If he makes it through that, then I think he probably wins the whole thing. So if I was a betting man, I'd say Cody. My heart just kind of pushes me towards Enzo. I love watching Enzo on the show. He is so funny. Some of the live feeds, the stories he tells and the things he does, he's just a pleasure to watch. So it would not break my heart to watch Enzo win it just because. But Cody, especially, gosh, he got so much grief last time for taking Derek instead of Victoria and losing the game to Derek and all of that. And he's played a good game, so I can't take that away from him at all if he finishes this thing up and wins the whole thing.
I have to agree with you. I think you guys can add on too if you want, people that are watching. I was going to say that maybe they feel like it's too predictable for Cody to win, and that's why they wouldn't be like super excited. But Cody has played a really good game, and but I see what you're saying about Enzo. Oh my gosh. Enzo is endearing, isn't he?
He is so much fun to watch. And Cody, yeah, it's predictable. And if I had my ways, I would have shaken up the house a lot more times and seen different people in power, and it just hasn't worked that way, which as a viewer has been a little bit boring. For the people in the house, that's perfect. That's what they wanted. So more power to them. And I think some people have drugged Cody a little bit just because of these rumors and the talk about pre-gaming that may have happened and support from Derek and things like that. But you know what? Once you get in the house, you just have to play your game. And I feel like he's played as well as could be expected. And he deserves the win if he gets it. So
right. I was going to say the pre-gaming, if it even happened, that's unfortunate. However, once they get in the big house, that person, whoever could possibly have been pre-gaming with them, isn't there anymore. And things change in the house, and you can't control other people's behavior. So that comes into play. That comes into play too, right?
And no matter how much pre-gaming may or may not have occurred, it doesn't mean anything if you don't win the competitions when you get in there.
Yes.
And Cody has won his share. He's had other people win to protect him. So, it doesn't matter how much you do ahead of time. You got to win. And he's certainly done that. He is a competition beast, it seems like, this season.
I know. Memphis, people can say what they want about Memphis, but he's been pretty awesome at comps too, huh?
Yeah. For the old man of the house.
Say what you want to say. He hurt his back. He hurt his foot. And I'm going to tell you, I probably would do the same. And I'm proud of him. He's done really well as far as winning comps.
You were talking about Memphis and his injuries and all of that.
Yeah.
I continue to wonder how much of those injuries are real injuries and how much is he just kind of milking it a little bit and playing it up a little bit. If you've got a sense on, he's facing up against Christmas this week, and it may be worthwhile to make people think that you're not that strong at competitions because you're injured and everything else. So I know I did a little bit of that last season. I injured my calf muscle, but I kind of milked it for a few weeks extra just to help me along, make me seem like a little bit less of a threat. So I wonder if Memphis is doing something like that also.
Oh, that's such an interesting way of thinking that that's why it's so fun to talk to you and Nicole, people who've actually lived in the BB house, because I can only imagine what it must be like dealing with all the different personalities, all the drama, and then competing on top of all of it.
And the paranoia, once we're locked inside that house, especially when you don't have access to the backyard, you're just trapped inside and you have nothing to do except talk to the same old people, and the paranoia, the stress that just elevates every single week as you get closer to it. It does quite the number on your psyche by the time you're through with that show.
I can only imagine, just because I was even saying this with Nicole, is that, I can get paranoid real easy in my normal everyday life about different things, how certain people act that don't communicate. Maybe they don't have great communication skills. And so you're left to only guess. Now put all that together in the BB house. So what's so crazy about BB and so fun to watch is not only is it physical and mental, but it's got this psychological aspect to it that can really mess with you. And social, obviously.
When everyone in that house is aiming for you, and the tiniest little misstatement that you make could just crater your whole game. You go to bed. I know I would go to bed last season thinking, oh my gosh, just let me get in bed where I can turn everything off for a little bit and just settle down and chill out. And then I would hear people in the other room laughing and talking. It's like, oh my gosh, if I'm not in there developing the relationships, then I may be in trouble. So I would have to pop back out of bed and go back in. And there were nights where I would say, I'm going to bed, and I'd be there 3 or 4 times. I'd go get in bed, and everyone would say, yeah, Cliff, we'll see you in an hour. And I'd say, yeah, you probably will. And sure enough, a little bit longer, I'm back out there trying to hang with everyone else once again.
That would kick my social anxiety in like to the extreme.
Who are some Big Brother alumni you would have liked to see on All Stars this season that didn't get the invite?
All right, there's a couple of them. One of my all-time favorites, and I've talked about before, is Vanessa Russo. I just thought she played a fantastic game. That I know she and her partner have a couple of new babies and all, so she had other things going on, so I get it. But it would have been fun to see her. Donnie Thompson was always just so much fun to watch, so Donnie would have been fun as well. There's a couple of older guys. Kevin would have been a lot of fun to see in there also. Yeah. Who else? Johnny Mac. Johnny Mac was one of my favorites. No. So
love Johnny Mac.
That's been one of the most fun things about getting out of Big Brother and getting to interact with some of the fellow Big Brother. The Big Brother community is just so welcoming. I had a lot of people that reached out to me as soon as I got out, and because of COVID, I haven't been able to go cruise around and visit with people as much as I'd like to, and do some of the charity events and things like that.
Cliff, that's really cool, because I have two things to say about what you just mentioned. So I think it would have been really fun to see you and Donnie in the house this season with some of these other house guys. I'd like to see them and even Kevin. I really liked Kevin. So the three of you guys, put you guys in the house. I would have really liked to have seen that.
It would be a lot of fun. I was actually talking to Glenn Garcia just yesterday, and we were talking about how cool it would be if one of these seasons we had a couple of the old guys together. And of course, it'd be fun if it was a couple of the returning old guys, because I had to work so hard to fit in with that younger generation, and it kind of limited some of the things I could do and all that. If I was in there with a couple other people my age, I got to say, I feel confident that we could control some things and put a whole different tone in the game and all that. And yeah, working with Donnie or Glenn or Kevin, all the other folks that are kind of like me that come into this as just the lone wolves every season, it would be fun. It would be a lot of fun. I would certainly not feel quite as alone working with some of those guys if I had the opportunity.
It would be really fun. And those are great personalities, just like you. I was thinking of Chicken George. Yeah. Somebody put up did you see the animation? Well, you probably didn't on your end, but anyways, It was really cool. They did your animation where you do this. Oh. That was really awesome, Nicole A. And then Nicole also mentioned, speaking of Nicole's, she said you guys were going to do a charity together possibly in December. What's that one all about?
Yeah, no, that's so cool. I missed out on it earlier because I canceled it, but Give the Kids the World Village, Hearts of Reality over in Orlando, Florida. And it's the village, Give the Kids the World Village. And it's kind of an extension of Make-A-Wish. Kids that want to have some experiences with Disney. They bring the whole family in, and they have their own place to stay, and they celebrate a different holiday every day they're in there. And it's such a cool way to help out kids that have some problems, and the families as well, who are going through their own troubles as they're supporting their sick children and all of that. So yeah, that's happening. I want to say the first like from Thursday to Saturday, the first weekend of December. And I think they do a little pseudo Amazing Race type competition with everyone that's there, and they do meet and greets, and just a chance for a lot of the reality folks to hang out with a lot of fans of reality TV. And I'm excited just getting to meet a lot of my reality people I've always admired, and am looking forward to talking with as well. It's all still a little contingent on COVID and what's going on with that. So I've tentatively said that yes, I would love to be there, and as long as things get a little better between now and then I'm going to be there. If not, we're going to figure out some different things to do and different ways to do it. But fantastic charity. I'm so happy to be part of it, helping them out.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. We used to work with that as well when we used to work at Disney. So we know everything that you're talking about. That's so amazing. I'm excited for you too, because that's good food for the soul.
Oh, absolutely. That's what's fun. I was so focused while I was in the game of just play the game, do the best you can, walk out with your head held high and all that. But I didn't think so much about when I got out, the chance to meet so many fans of Big Brother, because I've been a fan forever. I've been watching since season 8. So I've always been a fan. I'm still a fan. And so the idea that I can interact with so many people doing my own TV show and y'all's show and these meet and greets and everything, that is just the part of the experience that I hadn't really thought all the way through. And so to be able to do that is just, I guess there's a part of me that said, I'm not going to be a social media influencer when I get out. I'll just go back to being old Cliff, doing his thing and all. And to some degree that's true, but the idea from now on, I'm going to get to interact with so many people that love the show just like I do. And so that's just incredibly cool to have.
Absolutely. You're so blessed, because I know a lot of us are obviously BB fans, and we would love to go on the show too. And quite honestly, I think it's extremely intimidating. So mad kudos to you, Cliff. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I think this is a good. I had a question that I was kind of excited to ask you when I had you here. So in our experience with Disney, and before I worked at Disney, it was the magical theme park that everyone else enjoys. And I was really excited to work there. And I remember when I first started, they walked us around the park and they said, enjoy today because it's the last day this park will ever feel this way to you. And they're true. Like, it's 100% right. Like, even it's been 15 years since we've worked there. And even still, when I go back, it just doesn't feel the same anymore. So I was curious, watching Big Brother 22, has anything changed after participating in Big Brother 21 for you? Or did you get to go back to being a fan again?
A little of each. And you talked about Disney. I worked at Six Flags Over Texas for multiple years. So I worked in the theme park as well. And I know exactly what y'all are talking about.
Nice.
But no, I kind of have been able to go back to being a fan. I know the inside a little bit more. I know the logistics of, when they're doing the veto ceremony, I know that someone's whispering in their ear or they're reading out in between. I know little bits here and there of what happens behind the scenes. But I also think it gives me a lot more insight into to what's going on. That, oh my gosh, I know how hard it's going to be, that people are up all night long talking to this person and they're going to have to do a nomination ceremony first thing in the morning. And how do you make that? So, no, I think my experience just adds on to my love of Big Brother because I have so much better of an understanding of it. But no, and I know y'all aren't soured on Disney. That's not the right word. It's just that you see the behind the scenes. You see the nuts and the bolts, and
yes.
You kind of rip the covers off and you see what's inside. And I've done the same thing with Big Brother, but it doesn't take away my love and my passion for it. It just lets me understand it that much more, and as a result, understand the mentality and the psyche and the decisions that are being made by the house guests because I've seen what goes into it.
Right, Cliff. Oh my goodness. Great answer. Everybody here is super excited that you're here. And they're also super excited because Reality Recaps just popped in to say hi. So Eric, I believe Eric and Nicole, the dynamic duo, are here to say hello to you, Cliff.
Howdy, guys. Howdy to y'all. Howdy to everyone else.
Nicole is here too. I have confirmation on that.
Hey, Cliff, it's Eric at Reality Recaps. I have a really important question because, I need to know this because I suck. Do you have any Cliff notes in regard to how I could be a better co-host and friend to Nicole and not be so mean to her all the time?
Wow.
Nicole.
That time on All Stars just really changed Nicole and Eric. They just haven't been the same ever since.
Isn't that amazing?
It is so funny because I interacted with Eric right after I got out of the show. He was one of the first interviews I did, and it was fun. It was fun talking to Eric. I'm a Texas guy. He's up there in, I was going to say Jersey, but then he'll never talk to me again. I know Eric. He's a New York guy. Texas guy talking to New York guy and everything else. And it's so much fun talking to him. And then watching Nicole go from Nicole inside the house to Nicole, the podcasting queen on the show and everything. And it's been so much fun cheering those two guys on, watching their show and everything else.
we had so much fun with the two of them on our last broadcast. They're so funny. And like I said, and Nicole, you probably saw, everybody was saying dynamic duo, because you two really, truly are that. They have a great banter and all that good stuff. I was just looking really quickly. My mother-in-law says, hi, Cliff.
Yeah, my dad's an old cowboy. He was a big fan of Cliff last season on Big Brother 21.
That's right.
He saw that cowboy hat and he was sold.
And Nicole A, fan 83, says, I love Cliff and Nicole as a final two. Wouldn't that just be amazing? I know.
We tried. We wanted it. But...
Oh, you know what? Oh, my reality recaps, you're so sweet. You guys are the best. It says your show is great too, Cliff, and his mighty Cliff Notes. What does it say?
Keeps us all informed.
Keeps us all informed, right, Cliff?
Yeah. Now I've been doing a wrap up every morning, and I have my TV co show at night as well. So Sleep has been a little bit of an issue. I'm like a bear. I'm going to be hibernating once the season's over, and I'm just going to have to take about a month off and just sleep nonstop. But I have a blast just staying involved with the whole Big Brother show and the fans and everything else.
So I also have that other video that didn't play very well, so we're going to go ahead and do that one now.
Yeah, because you're going to want to, like, get the full aspect of this. I'm going, or what?
Hi, Cliff. It's me, Nicole, America's favorite player from last season. TikTok. Anyway, I have a question. Anyway, you know that I'm amazing, and I just want to know who besides me from our season should have been on All Stars. And obviously, you can't pick yourself, and you can't pick David, and you can't pick me because I'm already great. TikTok.
Wow.
I love the way.
I thought I knew the true Nicole, no makeup or anything else, but obviously she's changed a little bit as well. So who would I want to have seen come back into Big Brother Celebrity other than Nicole and David and myself? I got to say, Tommy was a lot of fun in that house. I could have easily seen a Tommy come back in, and he was just a ball of energy. I had a blast working with Tommy. I knew from the very first day what an incredible soul he was, and another passionate fan. Now, it's unfortunately, Tommy and I were always on opposite sides, full respect for each other as competitors, but we just never had the chance to work together, and that's a shame because we could have done wonders, I truly believe. But I would love to see Tommy get some other chances to do reality TV, be it Big Brother or something else as well.
That's so funny because when I was watching BB2, I always really liked Tommy. And even towards the end there, I think I said the same thing to Nicole, where I can't remember what it was, but he had a tiff between, I don't know if were you there, Cliff, at that time, but it was Tommy and Jackson Mickey, and they got in that big fight, and he was lying.
Oh, I was there.
Cliff, that was horrible.
What is truth? What is fiction? Who's blowing smoke? Begin.
I want to know what side of the house you're playing. Completely honestly. Because last week, you were telling Cliff and Nicole you're coming after us.
Yep.
Beginning of the week, you were telling us that you were going after Cliff and Nicole.
Yep.
You and Christy have been playing both sides.
No, that's not true.
It's not true?
Nope, not true.
So you're telling me that you didn't tell me you were going to throw the HOH to Nicole so that way she wouldn't be able to vote and that you and I would be able to get Cliff out.
Jackson, I did not tell you that.
Tommy.
No, Jackson. That is a lie.
At this point, the gloves are off and there's no holds barred. What I really need to do right now is pile as much evidence, true or not, on top of each other so that Cliff and Nicole's judgment will be clouded to the point that they feel keeping Holly is a safer bet than Tommy.
Last week, you were disclosing to me and Holly that Christy and you knew each other.
Yep.
You've been lying for 85 days in this house.
That
you
is
and
fair.
Christy have been lying for 85 days.
And what happened as soon as she left? I spilled.
I get it.
But I'm not a liar in this game. I've never done anything at
Tommy, you're setting yourself up for success.
Look at your.
You're setting yourself up for success.
No, Jackson.
Why would you
Jackson,
not take
just
me to
listen
second?
to me.
You're gonna run a jury clean.
Why would I not take you to second? Because
Yeah.
nobody in this house could beat you. You've won HOH
Really? It won
every
competition.
single.
I was thinking about that last night, and then it clicked. Jury management, Tommy. If you take me to finals, who is in jury? Jack has already picked you over me twice in this game. He'd
Jack
do it
is
again.
going to be pissed at me when he
Sis
finds out that I knew
is going
Christy.
to pick you over me.
Okay.
Nick is in there too, but guess what? He's pretty mad at you, but when Christy tells him that you picked family over the game, he's gonna respect that. There's Nick.
Okay.
Christy is not gonna vote for me over you. Y'all have been family. Jess is not gonna vote for me over you. That's 5.
Okay.
You've got this game won.
Jackson, if I get a chance to take you out, I will. I will not be taking you to second.
So
I
now
do not,
you're gonna.
Because, no, not now. I have never said to you that I want to take you.
Okay.
And
So
that is a lie.
I fabricated this all in my head that you're going to throw the HOH, that you'd be willing to use the veto however you wanted to.
Yes.
You didn't tell me that you were going to tell them that.
No, I did not tell you
tell
that,
me
Jackson.
that
I never said any of the things that you're saying.
You said you would rather work together than against each other. And last night, you're telling me that your pitch didn't go well
Can
with
you
Cliff
let me
and
finish?
Nicole?
Can you let me finish?
This
Because
is ridiculous. I'm just sick and tired
So
of
you're
this
not going to let me
two-way.
finish? There's no two-way. It's right here. That's
You
it.
have been playing both sides for the past few weeks, Tommy.
No, I
You and
haven't.
Christy have been coming after me since 5 weeks ago.
Fact. Not
Exactly. Exactly, but you've been buddy-buddy with Holly and I when we've been HOH.
I'm not playing both sides.
You're
I'm
not.
picking a side right now. I picked a side.
Because you got caught trying to play both sides.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
How is it not Oh my God!
I didn't, Jackson. I didn't. I'm not playing both sides. I never have.
You set yourself up with Cliff and Nicole. Tell them you're going to throw the HOH. By doing that,
I believe
she
the reason why
wins.
you keep restating the plan is because you made it up. I never said this plan.
Okay.
I never said this plan to you ever.
You told me yesterday that you wanted Nicole to win the HOH and that me and you could take out Cliff because he's the biggest target in this house. And then I started thinking, why?
Okay, hang on.
Why?
Can I just say something? Holly, you preach that you are your own person, and he is making this up and you're allowing it to happen.
Tommy.
This is killing me.
Tommy.
This is a lie, and you need to stand up for yourself now.
She didn't know anything about it. Don't bring her into
I
this.
didn't say any of that. I didn't
She wasn't
say
in
any
this
of
room.
that.
I'm just trying to process why.
I hate that Mickey is grasping at anything he can to save me, but it shouldn't have come to this. If Cliff and Nicole had stuck to their word, this would have been a straightforward week.
I didn't say any of that to you, Jackson. I just
Okay,
didn't.
you're right. You're right. I'm a magician and I'm a future teller.
You're a genius.
Own it. Own it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty telling, actually, I think.
If I could just chime in,
Yeah,
and I think this
please.
is something that is obvious to all of us, everybody was playing both sides. All 6 of us were playing the gosh darn same freaking game.
I know that.
All 6. All 6.
I agree.
I don't know.
I
I
agree,
don't know.
but I'm not gonna
I don't know.
sit
And then
back
finally,
and-
Nicole made the pistol go off, and I thought that would end it. And I feel like at Final 5, it's still, I don't know. And I
That's
think that,
why I spoke up last night, because he's trying to set himself up with both parties. That's not cool.
I want to stay in this game. I want to fight with these guys.
You have been coming after them for weeks.
I have not been coming after
Oh,
them.
oh man.
I am telling you, Jackson, I would rather go out 3rd place than take you with me to Final 2. I do not think that you deserve this money. I do not think you deserve this money.
Wow.
I think that they deserve this money. I think that she deserves this money. That's my truth.
I'm done talking.
Well, this house meeting's adjourned, I guess.
I bet it was horrible for you too, huh? Because it was horrible for me. Okay.
That was so rough because, I mean, we're talking about a $500,000 decision. There's 5 of us in the house. And at the time, Nicole and I are going back and forth on, is Mickey telling the truth? Is Tommy telling the truth? We weren't sure. But even with that being said, it was still, what do we do to advance ourselves further in this game and to survive? And so from a purely strategic and game standpoint, it was incredibly difficult to be there. But even worse was just watching 2 people that we consider to be true friends go at each other. And I always said when I went in there, I did not want to turn anything I did into personal attacks. I wanted to try to keep the game separate from personalities and such. And I tried as best I could. And hopefully most of the time I did. Sometimes maybe not so much. But I certainly tried. But to see these 2 really take it to almost another level in some of the conversation was hard. I just wanted to kind of, that's where the dad side really wanted to step in and say, all right, guys, stop. You go give each other a hug. We're going to work this out. But as a game player, I couldn't do that. I had to just let them go and try to make the best decision for the game itself. But yeah, that was a tough morning.
It's hard because that's a whole nother thing. You have to be careful about how you step into something like that because you don't want to blow up your own game too.
Yeah.
That's tough.
We had that one. We had the other argument, Taco Tuesday, between Christy and Nick. And I remember them yelling at each other. And I was over in the corner of the kitchen just sitting there thinking, oh, God, just don't mention my name. Just don't say my name. Keep me out of this. Y'all guys go at it, but don't bring me into it.
You came to me to ask if you wanted to talk. I said, I don't really have anything to say yet, but if you want to talk, we could talk.
Okay.
I told you honestly all my concerns about
Great,
you in
and
this
I fucking
game.
debunked them.
Am I gonna talk? You debunked them. So everyone, Nick's gonna use his words now to make everybody feel stupid.
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna say. Since you're gonna trash my game,
I'm not trashing your
Okay,
game,
but you
Nick.
weren't-
Let me just say what I have to say. I came to you yesterday to say I have nothing to lose in this game, and I don't have a single bad word to say about this girl, so I'm not going to campaign against her because she literally is my best friend in this house. A. B, my only aspect is either A, lay down and die and just literally say nothing and go home, or B, I'm going to use the only angle that I have, which is my own personal frustration with how impeccable of a game you're playing. But I did say, if you hear your name over the next few days, it is because it is the only angle I have to hopefully secure votes for myself, because if not, I'm dead in this game. I took all day today, super emotional and super to myself, to just think everything through and think about, do I really want to blow up a game? No. And I said to myself, am I going to play a game of integrity like I preach that I do, or am I going to blow up at a dinner that this person is literally slaving over? I decided not to do that. Good decision. Because I don't feel right about it, and I think that it would be more true to who I am as a person to get everybody on campaign day one-on-one and just speak everything that I know. And then you went up to Mickey and now stormed upstairs, and now you wanted to blow it up. So if that's what you want to do, then now that we're there, let's go there. But that wasn't my intention. I don't know who was there, but I did say, I think Cliff was there.
Manifest the truth, bro.
Okay, you're just going to scream the same
Manifest
things
the truth.
over and over.
Yeah,
Nick.
because please, for
Me
once.
saying that I did not like Mickey and how he spoke to me was the truth. By a show of hands, if Nick won HOH this coming, so I'm gone, right? Nick wins HOH. Everyone feels safe, no? But I'm sure that Cliff and Nicole feel like you'd never put them up. I'm sure that Sis and Tommy feel like you never put them up. And I'm sure as of last week, you've made Mickey and Holly feel really secure. So you're going to continue to throw HOHs.
Yeah, I'm throwing. I haven't thrown HOH but Timea River. So stop lying on my name, cuz.
Okay, but Cliff, you were very vocal with Cliff that he was safe with you in 6.
Because how we're at 9. How do I know if that 6 is not even going to get there? So
Okay,
why would I
and
tell
now,
Cliff
answer
that
my
I'm going to
question
put him
now.
up?
I go home now, right?
Great.
You win HOH.
Okay.
I remember Taco Tuesday. That was a big deal. You guys remember Taco Tuesday? Somebody was like, when I said, I don't remember if you were there, they're like, everyone was there, which was a funny response.
I kind of feel like this season, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, Cliff. I really mean this, because I went back and I was rewatching my videos, and this season was missing its Cliff Hogg, because I feel like in season 21, when one side of the house was starting to gain too much power, that's right when you stepped in and started, like, you're the first person that made that shot where didn't you put Jackson and Jack up on the block at the same time?
I did.
And then you try to rally the house together to try to save the other side, and that's what we never had happen this season. And we were missing that. We needed a Cliff Hogg this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, the commission or the committee never did really relinquish power, did they? But even beyond that, I don't know. I don't feel like the people that were outside that alliance never really did as much as they needed to get in and to break up that other side. I know I spent a lot of time last season telling people I just have to survive. I just need to make it week to week, but I'm going to drive some wedges into that big group, and eventually I know they will implode, and then I'll be there to help, pick up some pieces and all of that. And so I did my things, kind of encouraging the dissent between Mickey and Christy and some things to try to break those guys up. And I just don't feel like we saw as much of that this season. And maybe it is just because that alliance was so in charge that no one else could do anything except try to survive from week to week. But they were so busy throwing each other under the bus that they never went after the other side, trying to create suspicions and paranoia and everything else.
Right. That's what was missing this season, no doubt. And so it's so funny, because when we were talking with Nicole too, she was saying, and you guys thought our season sucked. And it was so funny because now that I look back, your season, you guys had a lot of really interesting personalities. Someone said about Taco Tuesday, I have to look, they said it was a good move on Christy's part, which I remember at the time I did agree with that, just saying. On a side note, you guys, thank you. People are saying really nice things about you, Cliff, and they're really saying nice things about us too. And then you don't have to thank me for Nicole and Eric, because they created those videos themselves, and they made sure that they got them sent today for you, Cliff. And so I'm excited that we were able to show those to you guys. I'm glad you guys liked them.
Absolutely.
It's me, Breely, had a question for you, Cliff. She wanted to say, so who do you want to be America's favorite player? What you thinking?
Yeah, I know. I know there's a lot of people have talked about Davon and America's player there, and I have no issue with that. think about the people that are left, and knowing that the people towards the end tend to get the Enzo. It's got to be Enzo, right? I mean, from my standpoint, I fell in love with Enzo from the night where they were all talking about their little jobs that they had, the jobs they've had before coming into the house.
Right.
Nicole talked about trying to work at the Dollar General store and getting basically turned down, which was funny. Enzo talked about being a crayon salesman, that he would go to towns outside his own town because he was so embarrassed about it. And when someone's talking about selling crayons as a living, how can you not immediately fall in love with them? So,
well, let me tell you this, Cliff, and I know you guys would agree with me too. If anybody could sell a crayon, I think it would be Enzo.
yo, I got some crayons.
Just one, just a red crayon. It'd be perfect for what you need. Yeah,
right? He was talking about his foot funguses the other night, and I was like, really? Wow, I was so fascinated. Oh, Enzo.
Yeah, he's Enzo and his foot stalker. He's always got a story. He has all kinds of fans, most obviously, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking about Davon, so I like the fact that you had a different thought. Not everybody thinks the same, which, I mean, they're both beautiful people. So either way, I would be happy if it was Enzo or Davon.
Oh, I tell you, I thought Davon and Bailey were playing such a fantastic game earlier in the season. They were straddling the line between the big alliance and everyone else. And, they each had their own people they were working with, but then they would come together and share notes. And I really thought they were in a position to go way deep into the game, and it just didn't work out. Some things fell apart a little bit and all, but
yeah,
it was. I thought they were going to dominate there for a while.
Yes,
I thought they were going to be the ones that were going to break apart the big alliance, and it just didn't quite work out.
Oh, and I hate that when that happens too, and you think you're like, oh yes, and then you get that big letdown. So Cliff, at Melbell, also one of our followers has a question. She said, if you were asked back into the BB house, would you play your game differently? And if the answer is yes, who do you think you would emulate the most? Or would you not emulate anyone?
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know if there's anyone I would emulate. Would I play a different game? There's a part of me that says, yeah, I'd love to come in. I don't know if I could really play the villain role because it's just not in my soul maybe to do that. But I will say I maybe would be a little less trusting of people. I'd be a little quicker to pull the trigger and boot some people out the door. As much as I came in before my season saying, I'm going to treat Big Brother just like a game, no personality, no emotion involved. At the same time, I caught myself treating Big Brother the way I treat life, where you value loyalty, you value handshakes, you learn who you can trust and who you can't trust and all. And maybe that didn't serve me well at the very end of the game. But, yeah, I'd like to think I'd come in a little bit less trusting and a little more ruthless and cutthroat and stab you in the back when you're least expecting it. But
yeah, Cliff.
But there's other parts of me that says I am what I am. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to try to be honorable about the way I play the game. I'm going to just play the game without the personality involved. And yeah, I would do a few things just to throw people off their assumptions of me going in early and such. Or maybe I just would use that to my advantage. I probably, if I went in, would have it say, hey, y'all know me from last season. You know you can trust me. You know when I make a promise, I'm going to keep that promise. And then it would make it that much easier just to kind of burn them and do the backstabbing at some point right after that.
I love that. There's so many things I wanted to say into what you were saying. First of all, one of the things is that we love about you and we love about Nicole is the fact that you would go into the house and treat it like life, like being honest, being loyal, all those qualities about yourself that make you beautiful. So it doesn't mean just because you didn't win the game or you didn't get in the top 3 or the final 4, we all still love you for who you are as a person, and we see those qualities in you, and those are still important to your fans. So don't ever forget that. And I have the same thing to say to Nicole.
And obviously my objective at the end was to win. And I told Jeff Schroeder in my pregame interview, I'd rather be hated and win than loved and not win. And I stand by that. But at the same time, only one person wins. And I don't think you can judge your experience based on whether you won the whole thing or not. I put different criteria on what I did. And I felt like I surprised people. I won some competitions. I didn't go out on day one, which was certainly a possibility. So there's a lot of things that made me very proud. The night that I won the battle back and then I won HOH, that was kind of the moment where I said, okay, no matter what happens from this point on, I've achieved some milestones. I've made a name for myself inside the house. And so from this point on, it's all just gravy. Anything else that happens, at least now I felt like I made my mark on this season. And I was happy with that. So I told Julie on my exit interview, as long as I can walk out with my head held high about the way I played the game, the way I tried to play my game, I'm okay with that. And I stand by that.
Well, your battle back win was epic, and we were all rooting for you so much. I remember at that time, I was like, yes, we were so excited for you, and no one can take that away from you.
No, and it was so incredible because Nicole and I had already started getting a little tight before then, and we sat out by the swimming pool when we were both on the block saying, well, this is probably it for one of us, and the other one just fight through and win this thing, and then I was caught off guard when I was blindsided, and yet somehow I managed to get back in, and then Nicole and I were able to take the game so much further when we really thought that was the end of it for us as a duo. So it's just an incredible night that I will never forget.
Oh, yes, a chance in a lifetime for you to be a part of BB. And the other thing I wanted to say to you, too, is that all of us could probably, you think going into the BB house, you could be fully prepared. I'm prepared for A, B, C, D. Let's do this. And then you get in there and you're like, well, that backfired. Well, I didn't know that personality was going to be like that. And then things just change, So it's easier said than done, right?
Yeah, no, and I certainly I had to kind of do a whole reset when Christy overheard me talking in the boat room with my Cliff notes and all. And when I heard that had happened, my jaw dropped. I thought, oh, not only is my game over, but I may have screwed up Nicole's game as well because I mentioned her name. And so that really, at that point, and then when Nicole, kind of the bullying episode upstairs and everything, and Nicole we thought that was the beginning of the end for both of us. And I had been trying to fit in with everyone else in the house. I was growing a goatee and trying to just do some things to have fun. And that night I said, that's it. I'm just going to be Cliff. I'm going to stop doing this other stuff. And I went in, I shaved the goatee and tried to just go back to who I know that was myself. And so, yeah, there were definitely some resets in that game and some having to adjust and having some flexibility. And I think that benefited me. Being as old as I am and as many as experiences I have, I think I was able to be a little more flexible than maybe some of the other people in the house of pivoting around when something like that happens and just chasing a whole new game from that point on.
Right? That's life experience right there. I want to tell you all the wonderful things everyone's saying. They're saying that Cliff and Nicole should be on The Amazing Race. That's what they're saying. Hey,
I would definitely watch that.
You should go on Survivor. Or Cliff, when Julie retires, you should take her position. That's everybody's saying that.
Wow. Well, that's high praise indeed. Those all sound pretty good to me. Hey, let's do it all.
Well, that's a really good question. So other than Big Brother, is there another reality show you'd like to participate in?
Well, the two other biggies, obviously, Survivor and Amazing Race. I grew up watching Survivor. I watched Survivor from season 1. Growing up, I was already a little advanced in my years, but I watched Survivor from season 1 onward. So to be on that show would be fantastic, would be amazing. Amazing Race, going on the show with Nicole. She's never been anywhere in the world. I've been everywhere. She's a little younger, a little more athletic. So her versus myself, from a travel standpoint, from an athletic standpoint, yeah, that would be an interesting contrast between the two of us, I think, to be on that show. So both of those would be a blast. The only show I've always said I probably am not well suited for would be The Challenge over on MTV. I think I probably would perhaps fall over from a literal cardiac arrest within the first day or two of being on that show because they are so intense over there. So
literally.
Hey, MTV, if you want to call me, I'll consider it, but it may be a short-lived show for me over there. But yeah, The Amazing Race, Survivor. I give my wife a hard time saying, hey, if those shows don't call, I'm going to have to call Naked and Afraid or something like that.
Oh, my gosh. I bet my mother-in-law and father-in-law are laughing.
Yeah, they watch that. They watch that show. And what was that, girls? We're big Survivor fans as well. And there was one season.
Sugar.
Sugar. You know Sugar?
I love Sugar.
So I met Sugar at the rap party over in LA after our show. She was so great. It's so nice to talk to her. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
If you wanted to know how Corinne would fare on Survivor, that was her doppelganger.
I swear Sugar is me, like to a T. And I I wouldn't even apply for Survivor because I already know that. Okay, just saying.
I've been in horrible spots around the world. I've been places where having a cup of rice to eat would sound like a fantastic delicacy for me. I learned to carry Fig Newtons and Nabisco snack crackers everywhere I travel around the world because you don't always have the nicest meals available. So, yeah, bring me on to Survivor. I'll put up with all the lack of food and the challenges and everything else. It'd be a lot of fun.
Cliff, I hope that you get to do more fun adventures in your life because, you know, people are saying this and I feel the same way too. I want to try to find the person that said it so I can, you know, say their name really quick. Angie Hung, she says, yeah, Cliff has such a kind heart and is full of witty and humor. And
Angie.
Let's see what else. I really want you to hear these things because I think they're important. People also said that you would be really good on The Circle. Nicole A. Fan 83, you're so funny because I happen to see yours a lot, your messages, and she said the challenge is definitely not for casuals. I would have to agree with that because we used to watch the challenge hardcore when it was like Road Rules. And
yeah.
That was a million years ago.
Such a good show.
That show doesn't even exist.
And talking about Road Rules, it was so funny. I used to watch The Real World when it first came out.
Same.
And I actually, once upon a time, they had Real World New Orleans, and I was over there for some work. And I went by the house, and I took pictures, and I showed it to my wife and said, hey, this is where The Real World is filmed. How cool is that? And who would have thought that 20-something years later, I'm doing the same kind of show on Big Brother, the Next Generation and all. And I'm just not just taking pictures from the outside, but I'm actually inside a house living the same kind of reality type setup. You never know how your paths are going to take you as you go through life.
You absolutely have no idea. And it's so funny that you say that, Cliff, because in 1992, I applied for The Real World. And it was like, maybe it was season 2. It was season 2 of The Real World. Now they've had like a million Real Worlds since then. I didn't make it, but I made it far. I made it pretty far. But I was probably too, like, you know, innocent.
I did not apply in 1992 because I was 10.
That sounds horrible. I told you he's 10 years younger than I am. I'm a cougar.
Back to your other point, I wanted to add on to that is when we started dating is when we went to Japan to work at Tokyo Disneyland.
Yeah.
And we were there for a year. And as much like traveling and culture and everything is so much fun, but I lost, and I already was only like, I think 115 pounds, and I lost like 10 pounds when I was there because I could not eat anything in Japan. Like I was emailing my mom, like, send me mac and cheese, send me shake and bake, send me something. Cause like, oh, it was so rough. She was great. She loved everything over there, but I was like, I would go to the vending machine and I'd just be like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and you get some sort of like potato roll and you had no idea what was going to be in it when you bit into it. It would usually be something really weird that you would not put in a potato roll.
Well, I learned a long time ago when I traveled, someone had said, don't go try to get the food that you're used to back home because they don't know how to cook it. It'll be horrible. Go wherever the locals eat and just enjoy the experience. And so I started doing that. And I've had meals in Beijing and places where there was no English spoken at all. And I just kind of pointed randomly at some line on a menu and thought, well, new experience. Here we go. And I've had some fun ones. I've had some, for the most part, I've had some great meals here and there. And so, yeah, you have to embrace the journey. You have to embrace the experience, whether it's Big Brother, whether it's travel, anything else that happens in life.
Oh my gosh, such amazing advice. So I know that BB is going to be on here in just a few minutes, and I want to make sure to let you go because I know you commentate for BB, so we don't want to keep your time. We'll make sure you can watch.
I'm here as long as y'all need me, guys.
Are you serious? Well, don't worry, we won't keep you too long, but that's kind. I don't want to ruin your night. You know what I'm saying? You know? Okay. Well, okay, so let's see. We've got a couple other questions here, and if you guys want to, Sean and I will try to keep our eyes down and look at these questions. But it's me, Breely. Again, it's me, Breely. Those of you that are here on TV Co, definitely give her a follow. She does recaps as well. She's amazing. She's a beautiful soul. So everybody make sure you follow It's Me to the Breely. Okay, Cliff, her question is this. If you were in the house right now at the start of this season, who do you think you would want to align with?
Oh, just because of my age, it's interesting because I'm kind of a new school player and that I was just on last season. but from a personality and everything else, I can't help but think that it would have been easy to gravitate over towards Janelle and Kaiser and work with some of the older school people that have a few more years on them and everything else. I never watched either one of them play. I watched Janelle play her very last season, but kind of before season 8 and all, I never watched Janelle and Kaiser play the game, and I love watching them both. Kaiser in particular, that guy just impressed me with his intellect, with his passion, everything about him. Now, did he play a little too hard aggressively at the very beginning? Perhaps so, but I want to meet Kaiser. That's the guy I want to come up to and shake hands with at one of these events somewhere down the road. And if I was in the house, I could easily see myself aligning with the two of them, and maybe along with them, Bailey and Davon as well. I just feel like I always have felt a bit of an underdog, and so I probably would have not been with the Alliance guys. I would have been with the other side and everyone over there instead. And but that being said, I also would like to think that just like last season, I would have been able to develop some relationships within the committee and at least use that to maybe create some dissension and make something happen over there also.
It would have been nice because David and Nicole would have been able to have you in the house, and you guys could have held on to each other a little bit. One extra person that's familiar to them as well, right?
Keep each other a little more calm and collected and everything else. And we could have made something happen.
That would have been beautiful.
The other person was Ian. I met Ian. He lives here in Houston, and so I've met Ian, and he's just he is such an amazing guy, and I always have appreciated his game from when he won. And so, and his love of backgammon. I got everyone playing backgammon last season. We would have sat down. We would have bonded. We would have created an alignment just over backgammon itself. So, yeah, Ian's the other person that I would have been. And I'd like to think I could have grabbed Ian. I could have grabbed Kaiser and pull everyone together just a little bit into a little bit tighter alliance to counter those big groups over on the other side.
I could see Kaiser and Ian connecting with you for sure because they're older souls. You know what I mean? Their souls are not, I don't know how to say it. They're more seasoned. Their personalities are. Does that make sense?
I also think they're so analytical, both of them.
Yes.
That I think that would have made it easier for me because that's the game I can understand better than the people who play a little bit more emotion on their sleeve and way up here and way down here based on what's happening week to week.
Right. And also, too, they're deep thinkers. Even Ian wasn't upset that Nicole was to vote him out. He's like, I get it. You know what I mean? So you're right. Ian's a really cool dude. And Kaiser seems like, I would like to get to know Kaiser, too.
Yeah, both of them would be so much fun. I'm waiting for Ian to get out of the house once he gets back to Houston. I want to hit him up and get a little more info from him and touch bases with him once again because that's such a great guy.
Yeah, I see that. So let's see if anyone has. People are saying that they have pure souls as well, and they completely agree.
Oh no, they're trying to come up with an alliance name for if Cliff and them all got together, what would their alliance be called? And that was one of the names they're throwing
Pure
out there.
Souls, then that's perfect. That's a perfect one. So will there be a BB reunion that can Cliff host it? I don't think they do reunions like that. They should though. That would be really fun.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? I miss all the Big Brother community. I'm ready for COVID to be over so I can get out and about and hang with the fans and the fellow Big Brother players. That would be so much fun. Oh, it'd be so much fun, Cliff. Well, I'm going to ask you a funny question. Are you ready for a funny one?
Uh-oh. Look out, Cliff. There's no telling where we're going.
So here are the questions that I asked Nicole and Eric. So
good grief.
I like to do Would You Rather with my followers just for fun. And I noticed that on BB, they also did this little game. And there were only 3 people that played the part of the Would You Rather game. And it was Kevin, Ian, and Tyler. And so I'm going to ask you the questions that they were asking their castmates, okay?
All right.
And see how you answer.
Okay.
It'll be really fun. Okay. And you guys here can answer too. Hey, Fandango. I see some new people that joined in. Or maybe I'm just now seeing you. Hey. Okay. Here is what Kevin asked. Would you rather A, eat every single day, 1 meal a day, out of the garbage, or B, have to sniff someone's used underwear once a day?
Once a week.
Was it once a week?
Once a week.
Okay, once a week. Sorry
Wow,
about that, Cliff.
Such choices. Well, considering some of the meals I've had around the world, I feel like I have a bit of an iron stomach, and I'm pretty adaptable for that. So, as attractive as the other option isn't, I think I'll go for finding the scraps in the garbage and seeing if I can't survive with a few meals here and there instead.
Now, what do you think Nicole and Eric answered?
I can't see them sniffing someone's underwear, so I've got to go with option A for both of them.
So Nicole went for the garbage, but then Eric put forth a really good argument for the underwear and then got her onto his side, and ultimately they went with option B. Because he said once a month, just a quick done. Whereas once a week, you got to put food in your stomach, and it might not sit well, and you might puke. And yeah, they went with option B.
Maybe Eric and I might have to talk, because I'd spend that whole month thinking, God, I can't believe at the end of the month I'm gonna have to sniff someone's underwear. It would just put a damper on my whole month. Looking forward to that particular event.
And then Abby Love, who's been making tons of cute, sweet comments, she says, remember, that's weekly, Cliff. It still stands the same, I think, doesn't it, Cliff?
Yeah, I think so. Hey, I had to do a whacktivity competition where we had to smell disgusting things last season.
That's what Nicole brought up.
After putting up with that, I don't want to have to smell anything else ever again in my entire life. Maybe I'll go to a doctor, have my scent glands removed from my nose or whatever, and then I'll go with option B, and Eric and I will be on the same page. But until that happens, I'm eating out of the garbage.
Nicole made that same point. She said that we don't realize how bad that whacktivity comp really was.
That was not acting. That was every bit as horrible as we looked like when we were having to smell that stuff.
Well, I have to ask this question because it just fits, and then I promise, guys, we'll go back to the funny one. But someone did ask, I think it was Mel Bell, she said, what were some of your favorite comps, or do you have a favorite comp? Since we're talking about that, I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, well, obviously the iconic competitions, the OTEV, to be able to compete in OTEV was so amazing, or Hang on Fright, the wall competition was a lot of fun. But just from a personal standpoint, I think one of my favorites was the Take It Off, which was the jet ski competition. It was during my HOH reign, where you had to take your clothes off while you're holding the buttons down. It was such an important one. If I had won, I would have been able to keep Jack and Mickey on the block and done everything I wanted to do, which it didn't work out. I didn't win the competition, but I like that one just because of the idea that it wasn't necessarily the strongest person, the fastest person. Anyone potentially could have won that event. And it just seems like a classic Big Brother type of competition.
Yeah.
Part of it, too, no one looks at me and thinks, oh, Cliff Hogg, he's going to be able to strip those clothes off faster than some of these girls in his comp and everything else. And yet I actually did okay with it. I didn't win, but I think I came in third with a decent time. So I really enjoyed that Take It Off competition.
I love that you say that because I like the one they did this season with the yoga that was very similar to that. That was so funny to me. I loved it.
I'm glad they did it my way during my season, because if I had to do that over and over again like they did that yoga competition, I think my muscles would have rebelled. I may have still been twisted up like a pretzel at the end of that competition. I wouldn't have been able to move after doing that for a few rounds.
Right? That was literally like Twister, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a little harder for me to twist around than some of the other people.
Let me tell you, I feel the same way. Okay, I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent, but I don't know what you guys think in the comments, and also Cliff, Sean too. We haven't talked about this, but the one that they did recently was really cool with the little teeny tiny objects. How do you think you would have done with that?
When they had to stack the beer cans?
Yeah, I would. My hand, I would have been like this the whole time. What do you think?
I think I would have done okay with it. I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with the fine motor skills and such. But you have to be. I think it was Tyler. They just took a little breath of air, exhaled a little air, and blew the whole thing over. And so it's got to be so incredibly frustrating. And I think maybe I'd be calm and collected enough that I could carefully put those things together. But yeah, that was fun. That was an interesting. We haven't seen anything like that ever before on Big Brother, and it was so cool watching them do that comp.
Yes, I get excited when they do new games. I just absolutely love it.
Ian had Ian's Would You Rather was like the back tattoo one?
Yes, I didn't even do Tyler's. Tyler had an interesting one too. But I have to say what Abby Love said, because she does say really funny things. She just said, Cliff will always know what wild animal pee smells like. I forgot that's what you guys were sniffing. Remember that?
I never knew in my range of experiences that I would ever need to know the difference between bobcat urine and fox urine. And yet, here you are.
Did you get to keep your BB comic? Someone asked that. Top Gun.
I did. I've got it. I've got it put away. I need to frame it somewhere and put something together. But yeah, we got to keep our I've got my BB comic. I've got my BB comics outfit as well, the cape and everything else. So yeah, they sent us a whole box of little memorabilia of our events. And so I've got all kinds of costumes and such. A lot of fun.
Oh, cool.
That's amazing. Like, that's just such a beautiful memory. All right. Are you ready for your next Would You Rather?
Come on, bring it on.
I have to ask this question before I forget. Don't forget that one, Sean, okay? Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So I'll do Tyler's next. So some of you guys that were here last time, you didn't hear this one. So Tyler said, would you rather, A, have a tattoo on your forehead of a fork? The fork is going down like this. I think that their choices of would you rathers are funny in itself.
Yes.
Or would you rather have your own portrait of yourself on your entire back?
Well, now Tyler's got a big old head of hair. I, on the other hand, don't have a whole lot to cover up a fork with. And I don't think that I don't think you can go on Big Brother unless you've got a little bit of a narcissistic streak to start with. So bring on the back tattoo and cover it up. Hey, better it's on my back than my rear end or something if you're going to put my face somewhere. So, yeah, that one's an easy one. Put the tattoo on and I'm good to go.
I mean,
I may not ever wear a shirt again. I'll walk around the beach and everywhere else and say, yeah, see you back here?
Yeah.
That's me.
Look how awesome I am.
This.
Yes.
Not everyone gets a tattoo of themselves, but I'm that kind of guy. So, yeah.
Steve-O did it. Why not? I want a tattoo on my back now.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, you look. Hey, you cover it if you want to, and if you want to let it fly, let it fly. I like that answer.
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay, here's Ian's, your main man, Ian. So he said, his are funny, I like it. Would you, A, rather be called Ignit, I think that's what he said, Ignit Mick Smelly Pants. I don't know where Ignit came from, but that's Ian. Or B, what did he say? Oh, would you rather have your fingers full of Cheeto yuck? You know what I mean? But they have to stay.
You have Cheeto fingers and you can never clean it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you always have a little snack when you need it, huh?
Who said that?
Aaron.
Aaron said that.
I don't know. I think from I think I could get a laugh out of the Ignit Smelly Pants and then move on with the conversation. Hey, my last name's Hogg. So in terms of last names and having some jokes made of your last name and all that, been there, done that.
I love it, Cliff, because it's kind of like I just embraced it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Nicole made the acute observation that you can combine if you do the underwear sniffing with McSmelly Pants, you can actually make a brand out of it.
Oh, yeah. I honestly wouldn't care if I was called Smelly Pants. I don't care. Whatever. Fine. Smelly Pants.
You'd prefer it. So
I'm going to rock the Smelly Pants. Okay.
Yeah. So, I think I'd go with the Smelly Pants. I can handle the Smelly Pants name.
Right?
They'd never forget your name, right? I mean,
we can rock the Smelly Pants if we want to. I'm messing with you. Okay, so Cliff, this was a really good question. I don't know if you're able to answer this or not. Are you allowed to pick your own music in the house when they play music for you guys?
Yes, for the HOH. When we get our music, if you win that, I picked George Strait with some dance standards to dance with my wife and all of that, which was completely opposite from all the other music that anyone else ever picked while they were inside the house. I got to listen to some Eminem and some Queen and some I can't remember who else had. Mickey had some weird hip hop kind of stuff that I wasn't even familiar with. But yeah, so mine was a little bit different from everyone else's for the HOH music. But other music, I don't know if y'all know, they wake us up every morning with 3 songs while we're changing out our batteries and just trying to get us up out of bed. That music we didn't get to pick whatsoever. It was some random person picking, and I would sit there and say, guys, just play a little music that's that's suited for me. I'd love to hear some old C&W and all that, and it never quite happened. But I did learn to love Lizzo and Billie Eilish and some of the music that they did play. So I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. We valued and treasured those 3 songs every morning so much because that was our one opportunity to actually get some auditory different experiences every day. And so I really look forward to hearing that music every morning as we woke up.
Wow, that's interesting. Now, that was a really good question that I wouldn't even have thought of. Now, who was playing Eminem? Do you know who? Because we like Eminem.
Oh, I can't remember who picked it. I know Nicole liked it. Nicole spent a lot of time up in the HOH room doing her own little hand movements and everything else as she's listening to the music.
That's so funny. If it was Nicole, I would laugh so hard because I don't know why I just don't peg her as liking Eminem, but that would just make me love Nicole even more than I already do because she's she's full of surprises, you know?
Well, my second choice behind George Strait, my follow-up if I'd won another HOH was going to be LMFAO with their Party Till You Rock and all that. I thought that would have been a nice change. I could have been doing some dancing up there to that music as well.
Cliff, I want to see you doing that with your tattoo on the back. Wouldn't that be bomb?
So
TikTok career awaits me. Huh?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Is Eric and Nicole were kind of getting on to us because we don't have a TikTok. Like we're still kind of like we're getting kind of older, so we're like doing the Facebook and we're like, hey, we're doing Instagram, and everyone's like, yeah, but do you have TikTok? We're like, wait, what? And so,
oh my God! Well, my kids and my wife got to see me do the flash mob inside the house that Tommy put together, and I think they were okay with that. But if they never see me trying to twerk again for the rest of my life, I think they'll be perfectly happy because they got to see that while I was in the house as well. And I'm not sure my twerking is quite up to the standards of the 20-somethings of the world right now.
I saw that episode and I was like, oh, I know I'm maybe doing this dance in our next video.
I'm terrible. I hate to disappoint everyone, but I cannot twerk to save my life. Okay. But
I can't either, but I'm a performer at the end of the day and they asked me to do it. So, hey, you only live life once. I'll get out there and I'll give it my best shot.
You could probably teach me.
The beauty is, it's not as though anyone really expected me to succeed at it.
Exactly.
I had a very low level of success right there for what people were expecting out of me.
I love a good old twerk surprise. You know what I'm saying? I love it. So, Cliff, I'm just going to ask you one last question before we head out the door. What kind of memories did you take with you when you were in the BB house that maybe changed your life a little bit for the better?
Yeah, I think there's 2. One is that the whole idea of Big Brother, 16 people from so many different environments and ages and experiences and all. And I've spent my life working around the world trying to deal with so many different types of people. So I felt like I was able to put that into play. But the idea that I could kind of work together and develop a relationship with so many young people and people from New York and all the different parts of this country and everything, it just made me feel kind of just excited and happy that at the end of the day, we're all kind of the same people, even though we're from so many different places and all that. And it just made me happy that I could interact with everyone. That I developed these friendships with all these people that if it wasn't for Big Brother, there's zero chance I would have ever met. I would never interacted with them. So that's the first takeaway. The other takeaway, it gets back to the family again, that being so separated from my family for 3.5 months, not being able to talk to them on a daily basis, it just reinforced to me that family is absolute top priority in my life, that everything else, winning or losing Big Brother, the competition, all of that. I told Julie at one point, regardless of how the season comes out, I know that I already have kind of won the grand prize and they're waiting for me at home. And I absolutely believe that. And it just, again, it hit home that for the rest of my life, I hopefully don't ever have to be removed from them for that long ever again. And that the family is what it's all about. And you build your base off of that. And then everything else is just, you can have fun and you can have experiences, but as long as you got the family to support you and that you can support, makes all the difference in the world.
Cliff, I love that. And I want to tell you this. You are an inspiration in so many different ways. Honestly, there's so many different people that go in and out of the Big Brother house. And it's not all about who wins, that everybody wants to ooh and coo all over. Sometimes you can learn things by seeing the house guests that are in the house. And some of the things that I've learned from you is, and even just talking to you now, you're well-traveled, you're well-educated. You seem like you're so adventurous. You throw yourself into this BB house with all these young people.
There's so much more about Big Brother than just the game show component of it. It's getting this microscope of watching people, how they live life, how they interact with other people. And it's for as much toxicity as we sometimes see and criticisms and things that come along with Big Brother and social media and such, I still think it's such a grand experiment, and it's so entertaining as well. So it's really cool I got to be a part of it.
I'm thankful that we had the opportunity to sit here and talk with you. And we really think very highly of you, Cliff. And we're super grateful that you came on here today with us. You're so sweet.
Well, right back at you. Thank you for having me on. Like I said, I love y'all's show, and I appreciate the opportunity to get to chat to y'all finally, chat with y'all a little bit. So thank you much.
Well, we're going to keep following you. All of us will. We're also grateful. Is there anything that anyone has to say to Cliff before we head out? And thanks, guys, for the follow and the hearts and all the good stuff. Does anyone have a question for Cliff before we let him head off for his night so he can be with his family? They want you to come back. Don't be a stranger, Cliff, okay?
Anytime, guys. I love it. Y'all have a blast. And we're going to find out in the next day or two who's going to be the final four. And as predictable as the season is, I'm still so happy we got Big Brother in the time of COVID and all of that.
I know what the last question has to be. Well, before we go, who do you think the final three is going to be? I think we all kind of know, but tell me what you think.
Yeah, it's got to be Enzo and Cody and Nicole, right? I think that's where we're headed. But Christmas may shake it up. If she wins a POV on Saturday, all bets are off, and then we'll see. We will see where the true loyalties lie once we start getting into these last couple of weeks.
I think it will be interesting because I do want to see what Christmas is going to do.
Yeah.
She's our little wild card here. And she's
the only wild card we've got left.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
The season depends on Christmas if we're going to see anything shaking up. So let's see what happens.
I agree.
Well, Cliff, thank you so much for your time, man. We really appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the rest of the episode that's on tonight, and we'll see you on your Cliff Notes broadcast on the TV Co app.
That's right. I do my show Monday nights. Now that Big Brother's on Monday nights as well, we've been doing it right after the show, so 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Hopefully football doesn't mess up with schedules or anything. And so every Monday night I'm out there, and then I do my little morning wrap-ups also. So find me out there on YouTube as well. So, but I appreciate it, guys. I got to finish up by signing off with my SKD 143.
I love it, Cliff. I love it. Stay tuned with us and let us know what you're going to be doing in the future as well. Okay, promise?
Absolutely, I promise. I'll let y'all know what the next grand adventure is.
I can't wait to hear all about it, Cliff. You have a beautiful rest of your night, and we'll talk to you soon.
It's a pleasure, guys. Thank y'all. Y'all stay safe, and we'll talk again before you know it.
Right back at you, hon. Bye-bye.
See you, Cliff.
Bye. See y'all later, guys.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Thanks for watching our video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our Cliff Hogg moment. Don't forget to hop on over to his channel and see what he's up to. And also, stay tuned. The next event that we have is going to be the night after the finale at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to do a broadcast with TV Talks with Tom and It's Me, Breely, talking about the finale and everything that happened this season. We'd love for you guys to join us so you can join in on the live chat. We're going to be doing that here, you guys, and we can't wait for you to be a part of it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.